so she has to watch later. She's doing a job.
Hi, Jenny. Good to see you.
Your haircut's so cute.
Thank you.
And then Miss Michelle's doing another project over there.
Hi, Michelle.
How are you?
Thank God.
Michelle
Good to
Lapp,
see
she's
you.
our social worker.
Awesome.
Yeah, right now we have 2 classrooms. We have an under 2-year-old classroom and an over 2-year-old classroom.
So how many kids is it total?
Here, I was just asked that. Every Monday we have more starting.
That's a good That's a good sign. Hi, Rachel.
Manishma.
Say there go more. Good to see
Hello.
you.
Hi, Karen. Manishma.
Sababa Baba.
Sababa.
It's even better now seeing you.
Toda raba, Karen. You know, we have 2 sababa in Hebrew.
Hi,
Two
Rafael.
sababas. Hi, Sherry.
Sherry. We have sababa nuts and sababa peanuts.
Sababa nuts.
It's better than peanuts, so you're good.
Oh, I picked the right one. Hi, Shelly.
Oh my goodness, Sippy. You don't have any hair.
I know. I cut it yesterday.
Hi, Roger.
Right.
Morning, Laura. Good morning, Sippy.
Good morning.
Hi, Roger.
Good morning.
Sandy. That'll be cooler for summer, Sippy.
Yeah, you know what? I donated every 2 years to a place in Jerusalem that makes wigs for kids with cancer. So it was time. And one of my son's daughters, who has never cut women's hair before, did it. And I think she did a great job. So
Absolutely.
I'm very happy.
Hi, Marilyn.
Hi, how you doing?
Marilyn.
I'm
Good
here.
morning. Hi, Sherry.
Hi, Roger.
This is so nice. It's like a reunion. All right, so while we're waiting, I almost forgot. If you have a smartphone and you have it handy, there's an app I would like you to download from the App Store, and it's called Goose Chase. So if you don't have it, don't worry about it. But if you have a smartphone, go to the App Store and download Goose Chase. And we'll
You
see
want
if
us
we
to
can
do this right now?
do it right now while we're waiting for people to come in.
I've never downloaded anything on my phone.
Then
So
don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I'm
Don't
just
worry
saying, if
about
you're able to do it, great. If you're not, then it's fine too. I don't
Okay.
even know if we'll get to it. It depends on how fast the other
Okay.
stuff goes.
Actually, I'm using my phone right now to do this meeting, so.
Then don't worry about doing it.
Okay.
Do not worry about doing it. All right, we're gonna wait. It's actually not even 10 o'clock yet. We're gonna wait a few more minutes because, believe it or not, there are a bunch more people who said they were coming. So,
Well, it's not quite 9, so.
yep, not even 9. So, but it's good to see so many people. Shelly, are you back at work? You're muted. Can you unmute? Click the little microphone that you've got because you're muted. That's good. Are you back to work?
Yes, I am.
Terrific. How does it feel?
Different. Yeah, different. But okay, because with the smaller number of kids, we can social distance more and do more with kids.
Good.
Yeah.
Rachel, are you back at work?
Yeah, I'm in the JCC library now.
Very nice. And here comes Julie.
Where is Goose Chase? I don't see it on my apps.
You don't see it in the App Store? If
No.
you can't find it, don't worry about it. It's really fine.
Well, I would like to find it.
Yeah.
Is there something special I look under?
I'm looking right now to see what I see when I find it.
You can go and search and type in Goose.
Right. If you
Chase.
type in
It's a top
search,
one.
Search, yeah.
and it should be 2 words, Goose Chase.
Do we play as a guest or play with new accounts?
Guest.
Or
You can be a
love.
guest. You can be a
Okay.
guest.
If I check what?
It looks like this. Can you see this? That's what it looks like with the orange.
Huh. Ooh, no.
All right, somebody just asked for the app or the link to get in. One sec.
Oh, great. And bring my charger. Oh, I'm gonna have to do this on my
So we
phone.
got Danelle and we've got Amber. Danelle and Amber, can you turn your cameras on? Hi, Amber. So I put it in the chat. If you have a smartphone and you're able to download Goose Chase, go ahead and do that. If you can't do it, don't worry about it. It's fine.
She has no audio.
Yeah, Amber, you gotta turn on your you gotta unmute yourself.
I knew I was gonna forget my charger. So.
All right. Amber, say something.
I'm here. Can you hear me?
We can hear you. Terrific.
All right.
All right, here comes Lisa. Hi, Lisa. Julie, did you do this? Did you do the talent show yet?
No,
Okay.
I'm going to release it next week. I haven't sent you my introduction yet.
Oh, that's true. All right. Well, I'm excited to hear how that goes.
Oh, I think
All
it's
right.
great.
I think that we are going to get started. There may be a few more people. Oops, there's somebody right now. Maybe a few more people who join us. Just
What
so
happened?
everybody knows, I am recording this session because there are some people who wanted to be able to learn with us who couldn't be here because some people are back at work.
What happened to Danielle's picture?
She said she just texted me and said she can't use video right now, which is fine, but she's still with us, which is great. We all know life is crazy and everybody's got to do what they got to do. All right. So welcome everybody to our introductory class on teaching online and using Zoom. I'm going to ask everybody to mute yourself for right now. You can unmute later if you have questions to ask, but it will be easier if we're all muted because there won't be noise. All right, so I am going to share my screen. Okay. Somebody was asking earlier about the pictures and if they get in the way. You should be able to kind of drag your pictures around the screen to have them in different places. When I'm sharing a screen, I can't necessarily see every single one of you. So if you have a question, just unmute yourself and shout it out. That's fine. Or you can put it in the chat, which we'll talk about the chat in a little while. But this is a beginner's class. I'm really trying to keep this on a very simple level, a simple approach. So if you know some of what we're saying already, I apologize if it's boring, but it's always good to have a review. And there will be a more advanced class on teaching online in about 2 weeks with Yael Gal. So, and when I send you the follow-up to today's class, I will make sure to include that. All right, so because we only have an hour, I'm not going to stop to have us all introduce ourselves because I want to make sure we have enough time to do what we're doing. So we're going to start with Zoom. So the first thing I'm going to tell you, probably some of you may have your own Zoom account already, and some of you may have just used the link to log on and not have a Zoom account. If you are going to be teaching online in the coming year, you will want to have your own Zoom account because you can't host a meeting if you don't have your own account. The basic version of Zoom, which is free, is limited to 40 minutes at a time. You can only do a 40-minute session, and you can, and it's limits on how many participants and some of the different things that we're going to talk about, strategies you can't do. But Zoom has created a free, unlimited version for teachers that you can get this year because of coronavirus, and this is the link on how to get it. You don't have to worry about it writing down right now. I'm going to, after we're done, send you this whole PowerPoint presentation so you will have this link and you'll have all this information. But if you go to this Zoom link that's on here and you'll get this thing that says Zoom for Education, you can request the offer and ask for your school to be added. That said, you also can check in with your school directors, because it could be that some of the schools have gotten an account that they're going to have the teachers use the school account. So you should check that. But either way, you want a paid account if you can get one. If you're just doing tutoring one-on-one with a student, you probably don't need it. But if you're gonna have a whole class, you really want a paid account, which, as I said, teachers can get free. So you should check with your directors. Yes, Sherry. You gotta unmute yourself.
Do you know whether that free education account allows you to share your screen?
It does. The free account for teachers is like a professional accountant. It's going to let you do everything you need to do.
Thank you.
So that was the first thing I wanted to tell you. Any other questions about that before we go on? All right. So getting started on Zoom. To start out, you need to download Zoom for meetings. Now, what I was saying when a few people were on at the beginning is Zoom looks different depending on what your device you're using. It looks different on your phone than it does on a computer. It looks different on a computer than it does on a tablet. To be able to do the most with Zoom, to have the most flexibility and choices when you're teaching, I would suggest a laptop or a desktop computer, because a phone and an iPad, while they're fine for participating in a meeting, they're not going to give you as many options for running a meeting. A Chromebook also is limited in how it is. But wherever you're using Zoom, you need to download it. So if you go to this website here, and again, I'm going to send you all of these links, so you don't have to worry about it writing it down. But if you go to this link, this zoom.us, excuse me, then you can install it on your device. So you'll get to that website and you'll see something that says Zoom client for meetings, and you'll click download. And after you click download, that's what the number 1 is, then you will get something like this at the bottom corner of your screen that says Zoom installer. And you'll want to click on that and allow it to download onto your computer. All right. Any questions about that? All right. So the next thing I want to tell those of you who are not digital natives, people who did not grow up using computers, is the most important thing with any technology is to feel free, feel comfortable exploring and trying. Imagine you are a preschool teacher. Imagine you are a preschool and you've got a pile of blocks in front of you and explore them all. You want to explore everything there is about Zoom. So don't be afraid. If you click on the wrong thing, you're not going to mess anything up. Just play with a little bit. I encourage you to, before you have to start teaching, try this out. You know, find a friend, set up a Zoom meeting and pretend you're the teacher and they're the student, and then you can take turns. Try out all these technologies. The more you practice with it, the more you'll be comfortable. You don't want the first time that you run a Zoom meeting to be when you're teaching in front of a class. That said, also give yourself permission that it's okay if you make mistakes. It's okay. That's part of the learning process. When I was at MJDS, they had a saying, they said that fail stood for first attempt in learning, right? You're going to fail a bunch of times before you get it right, and that's okay. That's okay. But once you've downloaded the Zoom app, the first thing to do to start a new meeting is to click on this orange button that has a video camera on it and click New Meeting. And that's how you would create, not to schedule a meeting in advance, but if you just wanted to start a meeting right now. Sometimes if I've got a new technology on Zoom I'm not sure about, I create a meeting just for myself. And I open up the meeting and all by myself, I just play with the different things. So you click on this orange button that says New Meeting, and that's how you create a new meeting. All right, are we good? Questions? Okay. Let's go on then. All right, so this tells you here to schedule the practice meeting. That's a very good thing to do. And once you feel comfortable, you've practiced a little bit, you can schedule your own meeting. So to schedule a meeting, to plan it in advance, that's a little blue button on the bottom left that says schedule, right? You see it had a little calendar on it. That's how you schedule a meeting in advance. Okay. So this is getting a little more complicated, but again, you will get this PowerPoint to look at it more carefully. When you want to schedule a meeting, the first thing you do is click on the calendar app that says schedule. Then you'll get the screen where you see number 2, where it says schedule a meeting. You'll want to put a name in. Right now it says C.P. Altman Schaefer Zoom meeting. You'll want to name it, Shalom Hebrew School class, 4th grade Mrs. Green's class, whatever you want to put there. You'll adjust the date and time, the start time, and the duration, how long it's going to be. And that's pretty much all you need to do there. And you'll click schedule. Sorry.
My screen doesn't look like yours. Oh, that chart that you were talking about was not on my screen.
It wouldn't be on you're not seeing the PowerPoint presentation right now? Do you not see scheduling with?
It is now, but it wasn't before I asked.
Before you asked just the second?
It wasn't there. You were talking and I didn't see any of this. And I didn't see scheduling and inviting. I didn't see that screen.
That's weird. Is anybody else having trouble seeing it? Is everybody else seeing the right screen?
Everybody's muted.
Yeah, I know. Because if people don't mute, then there's a lot of noise in the screen.
Tippy, is this for the just general Zoom or the special teacher Zoom? Is it just the same thing?
The teacher Zoom and a general Zoom is the same. It looks the same.
Okay. Okay.
All right, Laura, I'm not sure why you weren't seeing it, but hopefully you see it now. So hopefully you'll see the rest of them. Then to see your meeting information, if you click this thing at the bottom that says meetings, that's where you can see it. And once you've opened that, you can copy the invitation and you can email it to people. So you'll copy what the invitation has, and that will give you the information that you need to send to participants.
I see it now.
You see it now?
Yeah.
Okay. If you've already started a meeting and you want to invite people, if you click on participants, which is at the very bottom of the screen, and then there'll be something that you can do that you can click on invite, and then you copy the invitation link, copy the invite link, and then again, you can paste it into an email to send it to people. So basically the way you're going to invite people is you're going to copy what this link is, and you're going to send it out to your students, to their parents, to whoever needs it. All right. And again, the best way to figure this out is to practice it a few times. And if you click the wrong button, then you'll click on something else. And again, it may be in a different position on your screen, depending on what kind of computer you're using. Yes, Laura?
Do you have to, if you have a whole class of students that you meet once a week, do you have to type in their emails each week, each time?
So here is a great thing. When you are setting up a meeting, I went back on a screen now. When you schedule the meeting, there's a button you can push that says recurring meeting. And if you schedule it as a recurring meeting, then it'll ask you how often, right? Once a week at the same time. And then you can have the exact same link and use that every single time you have a meeting. So then you can send it to them once at the beginning of the school year and say, every Sunday at 10 o'clock, this is our meeting. Yeah.
That screen is not on my screen. What you were just saying was not on my screen. I still have the first screen, scheduling and inviting someone to Zoom.
Yep. That's what I want to do. Scheduling, inviting somebody to a Zoom meeting. If you see in the right corner where it says number 2, you see the number 2? The picture with the number 2?
Number 2? Nope, I don't have number 2. I have number 3. I don't have number 2. I never saw number 2.
No, number 2 is to the right of number 3.
Yep. And there's a big red circle around it?
No, to the right of that are all the pictures of who's in our class right now.
Right. So if you take your cursor and click on where the pictures are and drag it across, then you'll be able to see it, because you just have the pictures on top.
Oh, okay. Jeez. Okay.
Sibby, how do you, part of mine got cut off of number 2 and number 3. How do you move that?
Yeah, it's so small I can't read it.
Yeah, that's why I'm going to, okay, you know what? I'm gonna email this all to you, but I'm also going to give you, hold on. I'm gonna give you the link right now. I'll put it in the chat. So if anybody wants to open it that way, I'm putting it in the chat. Where is the chat? There is also the link that you can use to look at the presentation if that works better. All right. So whether you can see it or not, that's the idea, that you can schedule the meeting as a recurring meeting, so that then you could have the same email, the same meeting number and the same password every week, and you don't have to keep giving it to the students every single time. All right. So the other thing you're going to want to do once you've gotten your own Zoom account is to adjust the Zoom settings. Okay, there are a whole bunch of different Zoom settings, and you're going to want to go through all of them. And some of it depends on who you're teaching, and hopefully you know your students. So for example, screen sharing. Who can share the screen? Either it's just going to be you're the host, or you may want to let your participants share their screen. If you've got high school kids and you trust them to do the right thing, you may want to let them share the screen. They may want to share something. If you have kids who you think are going to goof off and share something inappropriate, then you may want to be the only person host that's only sharing. And there are a whole bunch of, I think we'll go through we're going to go through all of the different settings that you can make, but you'll go through all the different settings. You'll keep scrolling down, and there are a whole bunch of choices for the different things you can use in a meeting about what you want to do. But the one thing you'll probably want to do at the beginning is to set it up so you have a waiting room. So when you came to the meeting today, right, you first got there, you had to wait until the host let you into the meeting. And that just gives you control, so that we worry a little bit about Zoom bombers, about people coming into the meeting who don't belong there, right? You don't want people coming to the meeting who don't belong there. You don't want people in your classroom that don't belong there. So the waiting room, you just let them in. You click a button that says admit. You'll get a message that somebody's waiting. You'll click admit. That gives you control over who's coming in. Everybody with me so far? Okay. So when everybody logs on for the first time, you're going to want to make sure everybody knows the basic rules. So I had all of you mute at the beginning of the session, because if we don't mute, then everybody's background noise is all going to be in the middle of the class, and that's going to be hard. And you want to teach, if you've got kids who don't know Zoom, which at this point seems unlikely, because by the time we start in the fall, I can't imagine that you have many students who haven't used Zoom. But you want to teach them how to mute and unmute, which is just clicking on the little microphone, so that when they want to talk, they can unmute, and when they're not talking, they're not muted. There also is a way to turn on and off video. So if I click stop video, now you see my picture instead of me talking. I would encourage your students to always have their video cameras on. I always encourage people coming to my classes to have video cameras on when they can. Sometimes people can't. I notice that, at least with myself, and I go to a lot of Zoom meetings, if I turn my camera off, it is very tempting to be doing something else at the same time as I'm on Zoom. It's very easy to look at your email or answer a phone call or be playing with your dog or whatever you're doing. So you really want your students to have their cameras on all the time, so you know they're with you. The chat box is a great way to ask questions. So if you click on the button that says more, you should be able to get to chat. Let's try this out. I am going to type everybody a message. I would like everyone to open your chat box and type back a message. Okay, Lisa said hi. Oh, good. Amber says hello. Jen says she's good. Oh, look at this. Karen's doing well. Lisa likes my hair. Thank you, Lisa.
Oh, there it is. Look at that. Type message.
Good. Okay. I'm
Found it.
much better after a cortisone shot in her left knee. Great. Danelle here. I'm okay. Thanks, Shelly. So chat is found it. Good job, Laura. Chat is a great function, especially if you have a bigger class. Hi, Mandy. Because it gives kids a chance to respond to something. Everybody can respond all at the same time. They don't have to wait to be called on, right? If you can think of a time you've been in an actual classroom and you have 5 kids talking all at the same time and you can't hear them, This way everybody can be giving their opinion at the same time and they can be responding to each other. So the chat is very, very helpful. Hi, Julie. Good. Glad it's interesting. All right. Anybody have questions about chat? Yes,
Me.
Laura.
Yeah, would that chat be helpful for group reading of Hebrew?
So we are going to talk about how to do small groups. That's one of the things we'll talk about.
Okay.
Thanks for coming, Karen. Oh yes, private chat. That's a very good thing to share. So if you look at your chat now, okay, you see where it says to, and it says you've been chatting to everyone in the meeting. Hi, Roger. You can also send a private chat. So if you click on the little arrow down that's next to everyone, you can pick one person to send a message to. So I'm going to send a message to Laura. And now Laura just got a message from me that says hi, and none of the rest of you saw it. So if you had one kid who you thought was not paying attention or that you want to give a private answer to a question to, you can just answer them. But here is the most important part. If you are private chatting with somebody, hi, Marilyn. So Marilyn just gave me a private. Why don't we try it? Everybody send a private message to one other person in the group. Doesn't matter who. Doesn't have to be me.
How do you put in some?
So where it says to, you're going to click on that little arrow and pick a person and send it to. So the really important thing is, if you've been typing a private message to somebody, you have to pay attention whenever you go in the chat who you're typing it to. Because you may think you're typing it just to one person and accidentally send it to the group. Or think you're sending it to the group and send it to one person. So you always want to pay attention to that. You do not want to be sending messages to the wrong person at the wrong time. All right. Any other questions about the chat box? There's number 2 for the single person chat. Sorry. So there's not a number 2. If you click on where it says to, the letter T-O, not number 2, the little 2, it says to either everyone in the meeting or in your chat box at the very bottom of the chat box where you're going to type things in. It says T-O : everyone, or it had, if you click on that little arrow down, it gives you the names of all the other people you can chat to. All right, Laura, I promise I'll go over it with you online.
Okay.
All right. Zoom recording, which we are recording right now. You may want to record your Zoom session. So let's say you have 7 kids in your class and one of them is, God forbid, sick with COVID or, you know, out for whatever reason and can't come. If you click the record button, then you can record your Zoom session and afterwards you can send it to whoever didn't see it. So that's a really good thing. You should check with your school director and find out what the rules are about recording because of kids and child safety, and who you can share it with. You should always check with your school directors about that, but recording is a really great thing to be able to do. All right, Zoom backgrounds. So you see that when you're looking at me, you see that kind of cloud background. So I'm obviously not up in the sky. I've created a virtual background. So if I turned off my virtual background, you would see me that I have these lines behind me, which are kind of ugly, which is why I put up my virtual background. So next to your video camera, if you click on the down arrow, there's something that says choose virtual backgrounds. And there are a whole bunch that they've pre-uploaded, but you also can save any kind of picture you have. And that's why you get your virtual background. That will not work on an iPad or a phone or a Chromebook. But if you have a regular computer, you can make a background. And your students will probably like doing that. Excuse me. All right, screen share is what I am doing right now, right? You are looking at my screen. Here is my best advice to you and very important advice about sharing your screen. Before you start Zoom teaching, anything you have open on your computer that you do not want your students to see, close those windows. because you do not want to accidentally share a personal email between you and your husband, right? Or an email with your principal talking about a specific student. You do not want that to get shared by accident. So before you Zoom, close out any windows you don't need. So when you click screen share, that's how you share the screen, which is this little green button here with the arrow next to it. Then you're going to get a big box that's going to show you all the things that you already have open on your computer. So I would click, in this case, the PowerPoint, which is what we're looking at, and click share. So that's how you
Sippy,
share.
I only have share content. Is that because I'm on an iPhone? Because my bottom of the screen isn't the same as your bottom of the screen.
It's probably because you're on the iPhone. Like I said, the iPhone, when you're on a phone or a Chromebook or a Chrome tablets, it's going to have less options.
Okay.
So you can share lots of things. You can share a PowerPoint, you could share a Word document, but you can also show videos, like you could show a YouTube video. But if you just go share screen and click on a video, it's going to start playing and no one is going to be able to hear it, because you have to go up to the button that says more. You can see the picture on this on the bottom right. If you click on the 3 dots where more, and then you're going to go down to share computer sound. And once you click share computer sound, then the other people are going to be able to hear whatever sound is playing from the video on your computer. Again, these are the things that you want to practice, you know, with a friend when you are getting ready to do a Zoom. You want to practice any technology that you're going to do, you're going to want to practice too first. All right. Questions about sharing screen? Okay. All right, so this is just to show you an example of how you can share a video. So I'm going to share my computer sound. And again, and this is true for YouTube in general, never share a video with students that you have not previewed the entire thing first. So this is from Bim Bam.
In Judaism, it's not enough to just hold a belief. What's important is what you do. It's an action-oriented religion, and the individual actions are called mitzvahs, or in Hebrew, mitzvot. One mitzvah, for instance, is observing the Sabbath. Another is keeping kosher.
Say that again, I'm sorry?
I said I could hear it, but all I can see is a shared screen.
You didn't see the video on the shared screen?
No.
Did other people see the video?
I'm on a phone, so I don't know if that's...
So you may not have been able to see it. Did other people see the video?
I saw the video and I'm on a phone.
Okay. All right.
I saw the video.
Okay, good. So watching a video together, watching a short video clip and discussing it is a great thing to do with the class. I would not watch a long movie together. If you wanted them to watch a 45-minute video, I would email it to them and let them watch it on their own time, because that's not a good use of your time together on Zoom. Let them watch it beforehand and then you can discuss it in class. But a short clip, a few minutes, is a way to keep things interesting in the class. All right, Zoom whiteboard is
how do you get the YouTube thing? Sorry. How do you get the YouTube thing?
So if you just open up any YouTube clip on your computer before the class, whatever you want, and then you share the screen and you share that YouTube screen, then you're going to see it.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. So Zoom whiteboard is a really cool thing. And I'm actually in a minute going to get out of the PowerPoint so that I can show you how it works. But when you go to share screen and you choose whiteboard, that's how it works. So I am going to stop sharing. And I am going to go to share screen. And I'm going to share the whiteboard. All right, so do you guys see a whiteboard? You see a white thing on your screen?
Yes.
Okay, so there are a bunch of different things here. If I click on text, then I can just type something. If I don't like that,
text? Where's the word?
You don't have that because only I have the whiteboard. When you have the whiteboard, then you have this thing that says text. Then I'm going to erase it. I can draw. I can make a smiley face. I can also write in Hebrew. Okay, and everything can be erased.
Where are you writing this?
I am writing it on the whiteboard, which again is on my screen. I'm trying to think if I can let you guys write on the whiteboard. I don't think that's a thing. I think only I can write it. I'm gonna have to look into that and get back to you because I really don't know the answer.
Hey, Sippy, it's
yeah.
Lisa. You
Yeah.
can do multiple hosts, and then I think when you can do multiple hosts, you can do that double screen sharing.
Excellent.
Or whatever.
Let's try it. Lisa, I'm gonna make you a host, okay?
I'm on a phone, so it's probably not gonna work.
You're not good. Who wants to be my co-host and try this out? Sherry, you want to try it? Sherry? Who's not on a phone and wants to try being co-host? Don't all jump at it at once.
I'll do it, Zippy.
Who said that, Julie?
Yeah.
All right, so I'm gonna make Julie my co-host. Okay. Now, see, do you see the tools now to write on the whiteboard?
It says, okay, so let me change it to advanced sharing, or okay, it says multiple participants can share simultaneously. Do I click on that, or?
You know what? Okay, I'm gonna have to play around with this. I don't want to spend any more time on this now. I'm sure there's a way to do this, but I have not done it yet, so I'm gonna look into it and I will get back to you. All right, but so that is the whiteboard, and that is a kind of cool thing to be able to do. All right, back to the PowerPoint. All right. So Zoom breakout rooms, and this is a really important tool if you've got a class of more than 3 or 4 kids. And this is what allows you to put kids into multiple rooms, and each of those rooms is like their own small classroom. So we're going to try this in a minute. I'm going to break you up into groups, and once you're in your groups, I want you to talk about one question you have about what we've done so far today that's confusing. And I'm going to come in and out of each of the groups, and we'll take a look at how it's working. All right, so Shelley is saying that there's a way to do the whiteboard with the other people. I'm going to have to try and figure out how to do that. All right, so I am going to stop sharing. And I am going to put you into breakout rooms. Now, once you are hosting the meeting, there's a little thing that's along the bottom that says breakout rooms. You just click on it, and you can decide how many rooms, and either you can just break people up into a few rooms, or you can manually assign which people are in which rooms. But I'm going to create these rooms, and it's going to ask you if you want to go into the room, and you should say yes. So we'll come back pretty quick, but try have you go into rooms. Okay, Marilyn, you need to accept where it says that you should go into a room. There you go.
The meeting or anything, I'm gonna have to go through her PowerPoint and write down more questions.
It's really helpful to play with it yourself, and I learned it really quickly, and I'm not a computer person, and nobody told me how to do any of it, and I think you can probably figure it out for yourself. You got to just have faith in yourself. It's not hard.
Hi, Tsippy.
Hello, how's it going so far?
So my question was, if you are in a breakout room, can you share your screen then?
That's an interesting question. If I have it set up that multiple participants can share, one participant can share at a time, yes, you should be able to. You want to try it?
Well, I don't have anything to share. I mean, I just
share your desktop. See if you can do it. Try share screen.
allow Zoom to share my screen.
Yep.
It says open system preferences. I've got desktop as my preference.
Yeah, that should be fine.
Okay, so I don't know what, oh, the little ball is going, but nothing's happened. Okay, so I just was curious. I don't know.
In
We'll
theory,
figure
you should be able to.
Okay, well,
Right, I'm gonna go jump into the other group.
that's fine. Yeah.
Zippy, I have a question.
Yeah.
Can you use the Zoom for the teachers only for school, or you can use it for your
Anything.
private?
Anything you want.
Okay, we have our own, but for me, if I want to open for not CJL, other groups, I can do it with the same
Absolutely.
Zoom?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah.
All right.
For years anyway, and so it worked. And we
Okay.
could do it one child at a time over the telephone.
Yeah, and especially over the telephone, they can't pretend they're not there.
That's true. That's true.
Hello,
That's why you
Mary.
want their cameras on, is so you know they're there.
Yeah, yeah. Can we keep their cameras on? Like you could unmute, you can mute everybody, but can you?
You can't, in fact, the new Zoom, if you have downloaded the newest Zoom, you can't even unmute anybody against their will because it's considered a privacy issue, and you can't force somebody to turn on their camera. You can ask them to. You can like do a request to, but you can't do it.
Okay.
All right, I'm gonna bring everybody back together now. So everybody's gonna come back a little at a time. They've got the 60 seconds. They could wait until they're yanked back, or they can click the button and come back themselves. All right, excellent. I think that's everybody.
Oops, I don't know if Raquel.
Yeah, a couple of people still haven't come back. We'll wait.
Yeah,
Yeah.
realize
It's
she
another
had
8
to click.
seconds. It depends if you said, yes, I'm coming back, or if you just wait the full time to stay in your room a little longer. That's what can happen. So.
Marilyn, can I talk to you for a second? Can I ask Marilyn a question?
Sure, go ahead.
Okay, let's talk together on the telephone, the old fashioned device, right when this is over, okay?
I was thinking the same thing, Laura.
Okay, okay.
All right, so we've got everybody back. I'm going to go back to sharing my screen. All right, so those are breakout rooms. There are lots of uses in them. You can get them to be in small groups to have a discussion. You can have them in small groups practicing reading Hebrew. It's just a way to break the room down, and you can go back and forth between the rooms like I just did. So that's what that's about. All right, and then this is just a list of other Zoom tricks, which again, I'm going to send you this, and it has all sorts of links of things you can try on Zoom. All right. Those were the things I had thought to tell you about Zoom. Are there any, I'm going to stop sharing for a minute. Are there questions about Zoom that we haven't covered? And then we're going to talk about other strategies for teaching online.
You're going to send this all to us again, right?
I'm going to send all of it to you when we're done.
Yeah. In what form is this going to come?
I will send an email to you, and the email will have a link to the PowerPoint. So the PowerPoint will have all the links in it, and it'll have all the information we just had. You can print it out and look at it. You can look at it on your computer.
Okay.
Zippy, are we now eligible for or know enough to be part of the advanced class? Or should we wait?
I would, here's what I would do. Between now and 2 weeks from now when that advanced class is, play around with Zoom, practice, find a partner and practice. Again, you could pick somebody in this room, but I also might suggest that you try someone who knows more about Zoom. If you've got a kid or a grandchild or a friend who's really competent on the computer, get them to be your buddy and to practice it with you. Roger, do you see how Roger raised his hand? Let me just show you how you do that. If you click on more, no, not more. Where is it? Roger, what's your question?
Maybe this is too much, but where I work, we don't use Zoom for our meetings. We use Teams. Are you familiar with that? Are there advantages to Teams that Zoom doesn't have?
So I also use Teams sometimes for work. So here's the thing about Teams. If you have, Teams is through Microsoft. And if you have a group of people that all have Teams, like your workplace has Teams, then you can get together and do Teams. But if you were doing it with your class, it depends on whether or not they have Microsoft at home. And if they do not have Microsoft, then they can't go on Teams. So that's why it often works better for like a workplace than for just a general meeting or a class.
Thank you.
That's why. So you have at the bottom of your screen, you have the reactions. You can click on that and it allows you to clap for something somebody says or to give a thumbs up. But you can also raise your hand, and I'm trying to figure out where you raise your hand because I think because I'm host, I can't do it. Roger, where did you find the raise your hand?
When I went to participants, at the very, very bottom, it said you can raise your hand.
Good.
And you can make other sort of emoji signs.
Thank you. Thank you. I couldn't remember there was. So that's where you could raise your hand if you go to participants, and that lets you do that. All right.
Awesome.
Other
does.
questions or comments before we leave the Zoom stuff?
Can't
Yes,
you just
Laura.
raise your hand in your picture?
You can do that as well. Absolutely. Yep. Yep. All right.
Now, Snippy, I found raise your hand under more. Now, I don't know if it's because the phone or what.
Yeah. So like I said, sorry.
You see it?
Yeah. It's a little different depending on what kind of device you're using, whether a Chromebook or a computer or a phone. And again, that's another reason why you want to practice, because you want to be familiar with the device that you're using.
And that's one of the disadvantages if kids use the Zoom, but there's nothing we can do because they also will go on and say hello to this one and raise their hand for that one and that. But you know, they do that in the classroom anyway.
So one of the things in the settings is you can disable private chats, which could stop the kids from talking to one another. So if you are worried, you know your class. If you're worried that if you leave the private chat open, that two kids in your class are going to spend the whole time just talking to each other in chat and ignore everything you're saying, you may want to get rid of the private chat. Or if you think there's going to be bullying between kids in the private chat, you may want to disable the private chat. You know your kids. On the other hand, it could be a really useful thing if you want them to have a little discussion about something here or there. So that's something that...
As the host, can you see what people were saying to each other?
No. The private chats are private between the two people who are talking to each other.
And the settings, where's that?
All right, so let me show you settings. I haven't done that, so let me show you settings.
I thought you had. Okay, no, wait.
No, I was thinking about it. It's a good thing. So if I go into Zoom, hold on, I'm just going to get there. All right, I'm going to share my screen with you. So I just went to a browser and I went to Zoom. So I'm going to sign in. This is my account. And once I sign in, it's opened me up. It's got all my, this has got a list of my, sorry, somebody had a question? So if I go to settings, it's got a whole list of settings. So the first ones are about security. Do you want a password? Can people need a password to rejoin? These are to kind of avoid Zoom bombing. Zoom bombing is when somebody gets your link and comes in and does things that are not appropriate. This is the reason why now people don't put their Zoom links up on Facebook, because you don't want a bunch of strangers showing up at your meeting and showing naked pictures or shouting obscenities or whatever else. So that's the reason for having it. So that's why you have a password. The waiting room we talked about at the beginning, you can have that on or off. It would keep the kids from coming into the classroom before you're ready for them. So that's why waiting rooms are good. This is about scheduling a meeting, whether your camera is on automatically when you start or not. I'd suggest no, because if you're not ready, you may want a minute to do that. Audio, you want to have the option of telephone or computer audio, because if somebody's computer's audio isn't working, they can call in on the phone. This is about whether or not people can join before you. password ID. And I'll go through every single one of these because there are a lot. Here. So this is the chat. This is, can they send messages? Do you want to prevent them from saving the chat? Do you want to allow private chats between people? I allowed it, but you don't have to. Auto saving chats means automatically every time I do a meeting, the chat is going to get saved. Otherwise, I'd have to click something to save it. Sound notification when somebody comes in or out. That's a good thing to know. Let's not worry about files. That's a little more. This is allowing somebody to be co-host to help you out. Polling, we didn't really do, but you can ask a question to the whole class. Screen sharing, can you share or can participants share? Who's going to be able to do it? This is sharing annotation. This is the whiteboard. Is it going to save? Let's see.
And this is all under what section?
This is all under settings. This is where you enable breakout rooms. If you don't put this on, then you can't do breakout rooms.
Zippy, can you hear what's going on in the breakout rooms?
Only if I go from place to place. I can't be in all of them at once.
But you can hear.
But yeah, then you can hear and see. When I came in, I could hear and see.
As a host, okay.
Yeah. This is allowing the virtual backgrounds we talked about. You should read through all these. This is allowing live streaming, because when we do the salute to educators, we're going to live stream it to Facebook and YouTube. It's about emails that you would send to people, what language it's in. Obviously, you want in English. Who's going to schedule them? So those are all the different settings. So those can be really useful. All right. Other questions about Zoom?
Those schedules that those like things that you put on the schedule, chat sharing, notes, and then can you change them every week, or does it stay the same unless you change it?
It stays the same unless you change it, but you can change it anytime you want.
Okay.
Can you print out that list of what's on the settings?
Can I print it out for you?
Well, can I print it out?
Yeah, I mean, if you open it up on the browser and you just, you print it, yeah.
It would print out?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure. Yeah, sure.
It's very weird, but I don't know what I clicked on, but it got me to a Zoom post. It made my screen white, like I had left the meeting. And then I clicked back on the Zoom address, whatever you want to call it, and I came back in. But do you have any idea? I was concerned, my camera was still on, but I had my audio off, and I was concerned you wouldn't know that I was struggling. I could not see anyone else at that moment. Do you know what happened?
I think maybe you closed that window. You might have, if you minimize that window or you close that window and open something else on your computer, is my guess of what happened.
Okay, I didn't think I was. I mean, I wasn't up at the top at all.
Yeah.
But whatever. Okay.
Yeah.
I came back.
This is the other thing I want to say. Glitches are going to happen when you're on Zoom, right? Even if you're on Zoom all the time, you're really good at it. You know, your router isn't fast enough, or your sound isn't working, or there are going to be glitches, and you just have to keep breathing and know it's okay, and know that your students are going to understand, because it happens to everybody once in a while, and that's okay. It's okay. Yes to no.
So I went into I pressed participants, not participants. I pressed more, and when I pressed more, it says meeting settings. So that's got all what you told us. You don't even have to go back to the Zoom thing. It's right there.
Great.
Anyone wants to set their meeting?
Great. All right. Any more questions?
Yeah, I've got two screens on, and I don't know how to. One of them has a list of the names of the participants.
Right. So if you just
close at the top.
if you just click the little down arrow there, if you click that, it'll give you an option to close it.
The down arrow.
At the very top.
See a down arrow.
The very top, there should be a down arrow.
No, the very top there is a straight line, which means to minimize, and one to enlarge, and an X. There is no down arrow. What?
I
Now
just was
it's
trying to
back.
share something. I was trying to see if I could share what I'm looking
There's-
at on mine.
Laura, isn't there something that says close?
Yeah, but it
If you
did, now it's off. I think Tippy is fooling with it.
No, if you
close,
press
then-
close,
then it-
you'll come back to us.
No.
Yeah, but you don't
no.
want to, she doesn't want to leave the meeting. I think I would leave it for right now, Laura, so you don't accidentally end the meeting. You don't want to leave the
Okay.
meeting.
All right. When I clicked it before, it gave me the option to leave the meeting or to give reactions to the meeting.
Yep. Yep.
Okay.
All right.
Are you on a phone, Laura?
What's that?
Are you on a phone?
No, not on the phone. I'm on a.
No, I mean, in terms of seeing the Zoom. I'm happy to come work with you one day with gloves and masks
That's
and
okay.
whatever you like to try help you.
That's okay. Thank you.
All right, I'm going to go back to sharing my screen. I'm going to try and, with the time we have left, share a few more things with you. All right, we're going to try Poll Everywhere. Poll Everywhere is a fun thing to do to get all of the kids involved in your class. And I will send this to you all, but if you have a smartphone, or you could even do it on another window on your computer, if you feel comfortable, if you can go to this website. Actually, I will even copy it and put it in the chat, and then you can just click on it from the chat. That would be a way to do it. All right, if you can go to that and in your chat.
I never got it in my chat.
I just put it in the chat, and it's asking you how, when you get to that thing, it's going to ask you how you're feeling today, and you can click on one of those spaces.
You first have to press the pen, right?
It should be, this is gonna, you have to open up a different browser on your computer. You can't be still in the Zoom, right? And you're going to go pollev.com / I'm making sure it works on my phone. Coalition 719. Why did that not work?
Oh.
All right, I'm going to try it one more time.
Are you asking us to respond now?
Yes, if you can get it to work, but I'm not sure it's working for you guys. Let me put it in the chat again. You don't need the app. I'm going to put it again in the chat. Use this that I'm giving you right now. Try. See, you run into problems. All right, you know what? This is not working. We are going to skip poll everything. I'm sorry, it's not working. I don't know why it's not working.
Oh,
Oh, a few of you voted, so it looks like it did work. Some of you got it to work?
I got it to work.
Okay, so a few of you got it to work because you can see these little eyeball looking things. Let's try another one. I've got another one. So this is going to give you a new question. It should pull up on your phone or your browser, whatever you did. Write one word to describe yourself. Let's see if this is working.
Where did you put that, Sippy?
It should be on the same place as you were. At the
Right,
same
I've got
screen.
that. So, now,
So somebody got happy. Somebody wrote something in.
Okay. But
We don't have a-
where did you get the? I've got the word. I see someone's happy, but how do I get into that? What do I have to press a?
If you go
a
back
web
to this thing
browser
that was pollev.com / coalition.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
See if anybody else can get in. You can also do this through texting, by the way.
Sippy, I'm back to post attendee Zoom. I cannot see, even though you can see me, I bet.
Can't see us. And what's on your screen, Sherry?
Just Zoom.
Happy.
It just says Zoom on a white screen. It's blue, ZOOM.
All right, hold on. I'm going to say something to Lisa, and then I'm going to try and figure this out for you. Lisa, you can do it if you want to try it through texting. If you go to if you text Coalition for 719 to 22333, you probably can be able to do it that way. Sherry, let's see.
But it doesn't give you the chance to click it, anything.
Yeah, okay. I think we're gonna stop with the poll everywhere. I think we're gonna skip this because I think maybe it's a little advanced for this group. Sherry, you're still not seeing the group? You're not seeing people in front of you?
I am not seeing anything, no. But my camera is on, so I think you can see me.
We are seeing you. We are seeing you and you're hearing us, and I'm not quite sure.
Right. I
All
can
right,
hear you.
but we've only got 4 minutes left, so Sherry, I'm going to keep going. I'm not sure why you're not seeing it, but I want to try and show you a couple more things.
Maybe if you share your screen or do something new, I'll come back
Yeah,
in.
well, I'm sharing my screen now. All right, I'm just going to talk about a few other brief things that you can do using Zoom. One is an app called Canva, which doesn't have to be on Zoom or on the computer. It's just a very cool app that allows you to put pictures and words and all things together. So it's something you could have your students go onto Canva and make a little collage with pictures and words, whatever they wanted, and then they could take turns sharing their screen. It's something they could share. Kahoot, maybe some of you have used in your classroom. It's a way of playing games. It's very interactive and the kids can play with you. I think it's going to have to be in a more advanced class because we're not going to get to it today, but it's a very fun thing and it works well with Zoom. You can also do classic games on Zoom. So I wanted to, because that's low tech, you're on Zoom, but you can do some things like this. You could play I Spy. You can put up a background onto the computer and have them spy things in a picture. You can do scavenger hunts, which is a very fun thing. Tell your kids to go and find something Jewish in their house. Have them run around and do it while they're on Zoom, bring it back and share it with each other on the screen. This is actually just something really important about Zoom that you may notice. You need to be comfortable with silence on Zoom. You need to give people a little more time to answer a question to let them jump in. So, you know, a few of these are more advanced. You could play a story progression. So almost like a telephone game and let each kid that's there call on them and let them add another word to the story. You can play old-fashioned bingo. Have them make a bingo board. Have them just take a piece of paper. You can tell them beforehand to do this before class and divide it into however many squares and write a Hebrew letter on each square and then play bingo. You call out the letters and they'll say when they have bingo. And then this is just some more games. You can play charades. You can play Pictionary.
Where do you get
Sorry,
Zippy, where do you get all these things?
These are
Like
all
the
just
ideas.
some of them are from my head and some of them I got from different places.
No, but these actual slides. The slides.
I made them.
Oh, you made them. Are you going to send them to us?
Yep. I'm going to send them to you when we're done.
Thank you for everything.
Yeah. So trash get ball, you know, have them have a crumpled up piece of paper and a basket that you're going to say, and they have to try and make a basket when they answer a question. Tic-tac-toe, hangman, I Spy. A lot of these things you might do in the classroom, you can also do on Zoom. All right, I feel like I have given you a lot of information. And we're at 11 o'clock. So here's what we're gonna do. I am gonna send you an evaluation and a homework assignment, but the homework assignment is gonna be very simple. It's gonna ask you to try to play with Zoom and try this out with somebody else, with a partner, and then report back. So that's how you get your 1 credit for this class, but it also will help you because you're practicing. I will also ask you on the assignment if you feel like you need a part 2 of the beginners class, and we can try and set that up if there are people who feel like they need more to learn, they're not ready for the advanced class, and we will do that. The other thing I want to tell you, let me see if I can show you this. I'm going to share my screen one more time. I know I'm over time, but I do want to show you this. If you go on Zoom, once you are getting Zoom and you're downloading it, if you go to Zoom and you go to support, which is the top right-hand corner, It has tons and tons of video tutorials. And they're very simple tutorials of how to do something, how to join a meeting, how to record a meeting, how to schedule a meeting, how to share your screen, how to do meeting controls, how to record a meeting. There are all these different help videos, and they're short, simple videos, so that unlike this time we're together where I tried to show you like all these different things about Zoom, you could pick one at a time. You're having trouble sharing a video, go watch the video about it. You're having trouble how to use a whiteboard, you could go out and use those tutorials. So there's a lot there that may help you out. So I'm encouraging you that in addition to practicing with each other, that if you're getting stuck, you go onto Zoom and try some of these tutorials, because I think they will be helpful. All right, any final questions from anybody? All right, I will send you sometime today the PowerPoint so you can look at that, and please feel free to be in touch with questions. And if we need to set up some small group tutorials to help you more, I'm happy to do that.
Now this whole thing has been recorded. Now, where is it recorded? Is it in my computer?
Nope, it's on my computer, but when I send you the video, I can send you the PowerPoint. I can also send you the video of this class. I'm happy to do that. Yeah, whoever's running the meeting, when they record it, they have the recording. All right. Can I just see a thumbs up, thumbs down, or thumbs to the side? Was this helpful?
Helpful.
Okay, good. The good news is it's July 1st. You've got a couple months before you're going to be back
Thank goodness.
in the virtual classroom, so you have time to play with it. So I encourage you to play with it. Don't be afraid to experiment. Try it out. Find a buddy, find a couple of buddies, and try all these things out. All right, thank you for the thumbs up. I hope you have a wonderful day, and let's touch so.
Don't even know how to put it in. Don't even know how to put it in.
How to put what in?
The thumbs up or the some.
Oh no, I meant even just your thumbs. You could use your actual thumbs, but in order to do it, that's reactions, which is either under reactions or more, depending on how you're set up.
Oh, there
all right.
Okay.
So I'm wishing all of you a wonderful day, and I will see you all soon.
Thank you.
Mandy,
Thank
Mandy,
you.
I got a question for you. Are you going to go to Shalom now so I can pick up my visuals from there, or should I wait an hour or so?
Probably about an hour or so.
Okay, maybe I should call you before I arrive.
Bye-bye.
Okay.
Thanks,
Okay.
everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.
Okay, bye.